What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another segment of the It's Just Work podcast where we highlight our college basketball picks of the week. I believe we're in week 12. We've been rolling. Steve, we're rolling, brother. Right now, I am 41 and 22 on the year. You are 39 and 24. So, like, what can they say? What can they say about us?
At first it's funny. We had a few we'd post clips on Instagram and I remember the Kentucky Louisville game that we
Yeah,
picked Kentucky and it was so bad, but hey, the record doesn't lie.
it doesn't lie. It
And
doesn't
all of
lie.
them
Like,
are not like some of them are like, okay, these teams are like underdogs, We're not
right,
just giving you straight,
exactly. Yeah, we're
chalk.
not. Yeah, exactly. We're not giving you straight big dogs. Like we know what we're talking about, and I think it's shown with our records. And obviously, we're gonna be as humble as we can be, but at the same time, we gotta pop our
Gotta
stuff.
let them, yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? So back at week 12, hopefully this is a good week. Hopefully we didn't just like talk crazy, and we're gonna.
I hope
But
not.
let's get right into it. We got NC State versus Clemson, 7 p.m. on Tuesday. Clemson is kind of rolling a little bit. Who do you have in this one?
So this game, I just want to confirm it's at Clemson.
Yeah, at Clemson. Yeah.
Yeah, so Clemson's one of those teams under the radar. They don't have like that star player, but man, that team they have a lot of size. Defensively, they get after it. NC State this year has just been they just took a tough loss. They've
Yeah.
just been so up and down. I
Hmm.
think they definitely have the talent to be an NCAA tournament team. They just haven't been there. But I'm gonna go Clemson here. I think
Yeah.
even though NC State might have more talent, I just love the way Clemson's playing like right now. They're playing at a high level. I'll go with
Yeah.
Clemson.
I agree. I think I can go with Clemson as well. I think NC State, another team that a lot of newer players, transfer portal, freshmen, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, we've seen it so far some teams that haven't really just figured it out yet. But the talent is there, so they have the ability to win. But Clemson's just a solid team. Like they know what they want. They've been in big games, which like BYU, they probably should have won that game. Um, all around. So I'll go with Clemson as well in this one. Moving forward, let's go to two teams who, can make some noise in the Big East, honestly. You have Seton Hall versus St. John's at St. John's, 7 p.m. Tuesday. Who do you have in this one?
Yes, so St. John's right now is just red hot. As
Hmm.
obviously St. John's fan, I follow them closely. Seton Hall, still that same great defensive team, but offensively they've kind of it's just ugly to be honest. They just took a tough loss to Butler. I just think St. John's right now is so locked in. I think one thing about St. John's is they've dominated the turnover battle. Not only are they forcing teams into turnovers, but they're not turning it over. And for a team that had a lot of point guard questions, that seems to be, pretty big stat there. But I'm gonna go St. John's here. They're one of the, right now I'd say they're playing like a top 10, 15 team in the country. They're just playing really well. So I'll go with St. John's.
Yeah, like we talk about St. John's so much this with this podcast and stuff like that, and we always said that the talent is there. They have they're deep stuff like that. They just kind of haven't really just figured it out yet. And I think these past 4 or 5 games, they've kind of like you kind of mentioned before that they're kind of rolling. So, but Seattle is also a team too, where I mean, I don't know if you heard that quote. What Hurley said, he was like, they're a tough team. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really count them out too much, just because they're always gonna go hard. They're always gonna bring on the defensive end. But just when you
100%.
look at it, it's gonna be a big game. I hope it's gonna be a close game. I think personally, I'm gonna go with St. John's as well. At this point, if you're rolling, like you're rolling, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to stop a team, especially at home when they're just going. So, but I think it'll be a good game though. So,
Yeah, I just think too, Seton Hall on the interior, they don't have the size. They don't really have the size that to match. St. John's recently, they just started putting Dylan Mitchell in the starting lineup. It's Dylan
mhm,
Mitchell, Bryce Hopkins, and Zuby Ejiofor. To keep them off the offensive boards is like impossible. So
yeah, they're
yeah,
crashing. They're
yeah,
crashing hard. Let's move on to UNC at Virginia. This is 2 p.m. on Saturday. UNC has come off of a couple of upset losses to ACC teams. Virginia's been doing very well. They're another, I guess underrated team, kind of like Clemson, where in that 20 plus AP ranking. But they've been winning some games on the road at home. Another team that I think people should be looking out for. Who do you have on this one?
yeah. So Virginia's playing better than 99% of teams in the country right now, in my opinion. And I'm gonna go with Virginia here. I just think UNC. not playing again. Classic case of they're not playing their best, and Virginia is playing their best.
Right.
UNC, they just I watched a little bit of the game against Stanford, and defensively they are just like a mess. Now it's not all the guards' fault, but like I think teams are starting to figure out if you take Vasar away from the rim and put Caleb Wilson in a lot of actions where you have to communicate or switch a guy, out onto shooter or whatnot, those guys are just not communicating well at all, and they're not moving that great out there. So I'll go with Virginia. They run a lot of good stuff. Yeah, I'll go. Virginia's playing really well. I'll go
Yeah.
with them.
Is what's the Virginia's coach's name? Is it Odom?
Ryan Odom.
Ryan Odom, right? Yeah. So obviously, I know and I think you told me this before. He's been winning like everywhere he's
So
been
yeah,
to.
he was at
VCU,
Utah State, VCU.
Utah
He's been
State,
and it's not just winning. It's winning at like how did Utah State play versus how VCU plays and like the style of players. Two totally different programs, style of play. And here at Virginia, totally different style of play. So he's shown he can recruit and adapt where he is, and that's a
right?
huge strength of a coach. I think he's one of the most underrated coaches in the country. He's
Yeah.
awesome.
No, I think like especially now too. We were just highlighting it too, like John Shire.
Hmm.
Um, when it's like deep into conference play, I feel like coaching is a
Oh,
pretty big part of
100%.
things. Like being able to put players in the right spot, being able to know what the other coach is gonna start making adjustments and stuff like that. And no knock on I guess Hubert Davis and just UNC, but there's times where he isn't the best in making and giving adjustments and finding ways to win. So I think this game is gonna come down a lot to like the coaching battle. Because they're both like I,
100%.
I do like UNC's team. Obviously they're one of the better teams when they do play well. Um, so I think it's gonna come down to a lot with that and whoever can just kind of just control the pace of the game. So I think just the way these teams are playing right now, UNC another road game and they're not really doing that well on the road in general. Um, I think we'll go with Virginia as well on this one. So we'll see. We'll see. I do like UNC's team as much as that hurts to say, but
Yeah,
um,
they're just
well,
defensively they are a mess right now.
yeah, yeah. So hopefully they can pick it up. But next we have the game of the week. This is a tough one. I still don't really know who I'm gonna pick on this one. So we have Illinois versus Purdue at Purdue, 3 p.m. on Saturday. This is huge. I think this is huge for just the Big Ten in general. I think this is huge for honestly just seeing how these teams play in this big environment for March and stuff like that. So obviously Illinois is your team, but who are you taking on this one?
Yeah, so these teams are very I don't know they match up very well one another. They have a lot of size,
Mhm.
great point guard play. Oh man, this is tough because winning at Purdue is no easy task.
Right,
But who am I? I can't quit on the team that I've highlighted all year, right? So
right.
I'm gonna go Illinois. They're playing as well as anyone in the country right now. I think I've highlighted this before in previous videos. Big reason to their success is they've just slowed their pace of play down a ton. Whereas early in
Mhm.
versus like Alabama and UConn, it's not that they can't play up and down, but their front court especially Mirkovic and uh, Ivisic, both those brothers, that's just not their style of play. That's not who they are. So I think the more physical strengths of them and playing in a half court setting has been beneficial. So I like that this game versus a Purdue team, it's going to be a physical half court slow game. I like that for Illinois, and I just think they're playing a little bit better right now. So I'll go with Illinois, but I mean it's going to be hard. This is a real toss up.
Yeah, I think this game's gonna come down to for especially for Illinois is how well Kylan Boswell can defend Brandon Smith. I think whoever
100%.
wins that matchup, like if Brandon Smith does better, I think Purdue will win. I think if Kylan Boswell can kind of shut him down, which Kylan Boswell did a great job versus finished thirds when they played Iowa, and that was a big reason why they did win that game. But I think that's what's gonna come down to because I think these teams like you said match up very similarly. The slower pace big bodies inside that can kind of bang down low. But if Brandon Smith can kind of get off and dictate the pace of this game, I don't really see Purdue losing. If they can kind of make it hard for him to do that, I can see Illinois winning. I think just with that in place, Brandon Smith, he's one of the best point guards. Like he's hot too. So
100%.
um, I don't really see that slowing down so much right now. I think I'm gonna go with Purdue on this one. Being at home, I think I think Brandon Smith is gonna control the pace of the game, and I think if they do that, they're a hard team to beat. So, but yeah, I'm excited for that one. That's gonna be a
This
good
has
game.
got to be. I'm looking now for previous games. This got to be pretty much close as the game of the year so far. Has there been? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
there's been some good ones, but like
I wonder.
Arizona, for example,
Right,
like UConn was missing a few guys.
right. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, no, it's a great game, so I'm excited to see, both teams.
Yeah, I wonder what because doesn't Ken Palm does like they rate the amount, right? They rate games of like
Oh
excitement
yes, hold
like
on, I'll
that. So
pull it
I
up.
wonder, I
Wow,
wonder,
it's not the highest ranked game that day, which is crazy.
do we have the highest ranked game on our list?
We do not, which I'll give us some defense. We Houston and Texas Tech is the highest rated
Yeah,
game, but we've
yeah,
already kind
yeah.
of picked that before.
Right, yeah.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. But
yeah.
that's gonna be a good game. That's gonna be a good game. Let's move on to go to the SEC. Two teams, especially one of them is doing pretty well. We have Georgia at Texas, 1 p.m. on Saturday. Georgia's had a big win versus Arkansas. Texas has been upsetting teams left and right, so they're another underrated team that's kind of doing well right now. But who do you have on this one?
Yeah, so I would say here Texas is playing really well. A lot of big wins recently. Georgia, just another big win though versus Arkansas. I just think here, I watched that Texas versus Vandy game a little bit. I was pretty impressed with Texas. I like how they're playing. I just think, even though Georgia with a big win to get them kind of in the right direction, I like Texas here. I like how the past week and a half they've been playing home court. I kind of like what they're cooking up right now. So I'll go Texas.
I agree. I think Georgia. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Georgia just in general. Obviously, they're ranked. I don't know if they're ranked right now. They might be at that 23 spot maybe, but I don't think they're a ranked team moving forward. Obviously,
Right.
they did one versus Arkansas at home, but I think going on the road with a team that Texas, they might be getting some confidence coming up. Like you beat Vanderbilt at
100%.
home. Um, it's you never know what's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? So they're a team that they have a pretty good solid squad too. So they're a tough team to beat. Last for our last game, let's move on to the ACC. We have Virginia Tech versus Louisville at Louisville, 3:30 on Saturday. It's be a pretty solid game in the ACC standing. So who you got on that one?
Yeah, so Louisville, they blew out Pitt Saturday, like
Mhm,
blew out.
mhm.
But prior to that, they've been struggling versus. I mean, they lost to Duke and Virginia, so those are pretty quality teams. Virginia Tech has been like the team of like either close losses. They lost to one. I remember SMU. They lost by one to Stanford. They just blew out Notre Dame, so that was a good win. But I don't know. I kind of like Louisville here. I know that they've been uh, haven't been great the past month, but I think hopefully that win versus Pitt will get them in the right direction. Virginia Tech's just been so like inconsistent for me. A team that both you and I are pretty excited to watch for conference play, but they've just been a little up and down.
Yeah, I agree. I think for Virginia Tech, with that Neo kid, obviously he started off super hot. He's still doing pretty solid, but I think I was expecting more as conference
Not
plays.
the
Maybe
same effect,
you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like I look at him as I still think he'd be a lottery pick for sure, just based off what I think he can do, and only being at his size and his
Right.
just style of play. But I looked at him as early on, I was like, oh, he's gonna be a top 5 pick. Like he's gonna be this type of guy who's just gonna dominate college, and he's doing well. He's averaging like 14, 15 points, and then has assists, has the rebounds, stuff like that. So he's doing well, but like not to the I guess standard that we thought we were gonna have from him.
100%.
Um, I think with them, they just have to beat Louisville down low to get a win. Kind of just attack the rim, get it down to their big man in the post because Louisville, their big men are solid, but they're more I don't know, they're more perimeter guys. I feel like, especially on the offensive end too. So being at Louisville too is gonna be rocking in there. I think I'm gonna go with Louisville as well on this one too. Just you know, I think the home court advantage is gonna be huge for them. So, um,
100%.
yeah, I think I picked all home teams.
So,
Yeah, it
yeah.
Clemson and
What
St.
were our
John.
disagreements on? It was Illinois,
Yeah,
Purdue.
Illinois and Purdue. I think that's it.
Wow. Maybe it's just we're getting smarter.
Yeah, I mean, like it's kind of working right now, right?
It's
Like,
working. Yeah.
because at the beginning we were kind of like half and half, and we were, which is probably maybe a little bit better for the viewership and stuff like that. But
Absolutely, yeah.
we're working. So I mean, yeah, we'll see how this week goes. Hope it's another 4-2, 5-1, 6-0 week. We'll see,
We'll
but
take those, yeah.
yeah, we appreciate the support every week, tapping in with you guys. Like you said, like, comment, subscribe, do all the above. Let us know your picks in the comments below. And yeah, we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys next week.